This video we are going to discuss what is on the agenda for a directors meeting. Now, a board meeting agenda serves as the roadmap for the chair and acts as the driving force of your meetings. It helps to move between meeting subjects and addresses all business items while not dwelling too long on specific issues that are better addressed in committee meetings. Now, the Companies Act of 2008 regulates the board meetings in Section 7, which provides that, amongst other things, the minutes must include declarations of personal financial interests and resolutions adopted, as well as the minutes which are evidence of the proceedings at the meeting. Minutes of the board and board committee meetings form parts of the company's records and can be held as hard copies or in electronic formats, but must be capable of being reproduced in hard copy form. In this regard, we refer to sections 24 subsection 1 and subsection 3 paragraph F of the Companies Act of 2008. The decision on which format to use should be confirmed at a board meeting and formally recorded. For companies, directors' fiduciary duties and the duty of care and skill and diligence are partly codified in Section 76. Fiduciary duties include but are not limited to a duty to act in good faith and in the best interest of the company, a duty to act within the limits of the authority and to exercise powers of a proper purpose, and a duty to maintain an unfettered discretion and a duty to avoid conflicts of interest. Now, Section 75 places specific obligations on directors when dealing with personal financial interests, and it is crucial to minute that such procedures were followed where applicable. Now, the purpose of minutes is to provide an accurate record of the decisions made, including resolutions passed and actions decided on at the meeting, with sufficient context on key discussion points to demonstrate that the directors discharged their duties of due care, skill, and diligence to enjoy protection of the business judgment rule. Minutes provide evidence that directors met their statutory and regulatory duties as well as the responsibilities set out in the board and committee charters. Minutes should provide sufficient context to enable the person reading the minute to understand key discussion points between participants in arriving at the conclusion. The function and content of minutes will vary across sectors and between companies. Minutes of board meetings are internal records of the company, and as such, shareholders have no legal right to see board minutes. However, as I have said, some organizations, such as regulatory bodies, may choose to publish minutes of board meetings and associated papers. Careful consideration should be given to a decision to publish details of internal matters in this way, and consideration should be given to the potential impact on this important decision-making function within the organization. Now, auditors sometimes request to see board minutes as part of their audit inspection. Some companies will allow this, others only allow the audit partner to read the minutes, and others will only allow them to see specific minutes. In some regulated sectors, the regulator shall request copies of the board's minutes. Now, why this is required is because your board meeting agendas do not always have to look the same. You can change your board meeting by turning your agenda upside down and addressing the most important and potentially game-changing information first. It is much easier to generate new ideas when board members' minds are fresh. Also, you need to take note that if a topic is meant to inform, seek information, or arrive at a decision, knowing the end goal of each given board meeting agenda item makes it much easier to achieve it. Otherwise, you may reach your objective without realizing it and then waste time looking for another solution that you do not need. Now, a set amount of time for each, or allocate a set amount of time for each agenda item. If you do not reach the desired conclusion, keep it on the board meeting agenda for next time and focus on solving the problems that you can right now. If everyone knows it is time to move on, wrapping up the discussion is much easier. Once you have created a board meeting agenda with actionable discussion points and key decision-making items, you should share it with your board members. Now, sharing it in advance gives the members an opportunity to fully prepare and actively contribute, especially if they are assigned to cover one of the items. With sufficient review time, your board meeting agenda will give board members some level of detail about discussion items and inspire provocative questions to bring up to initiate effective collaboration. When board when documents and reports are attached to the board meeting agenda, members can review them at their leisure and use meeting time for discussion. Or better yet, they can focus on the strategic issues facing your nonprofit. After all, your board meeting should focus on the future of your organization. By sending your board meeting agendas out in advance, members can relax knowing that the meeting is under control and that all pressing issues are accounted for. On a similar note, you should try to include any important information that arises during a board meeting. Remember, boards have legal liability, and minutes serve as an official and legal record. In a legal arena, minute or meeting minutes are presumed to be correct. So keep language clear and simple to avoid any complications, and use these details as a strong starting point. Now, the meeting's place, date, and exact time was called to order, the type of meeting that was called, regularly scheduled, special, or what kind of meeting was called. The full names of the meeting participants and absentees must also be stated. Each motion, including who made it, who seconded it, and what the outcome was. Action items and next steps should also be listed. Next meeting's date and time, and the time of the adjournment should also be listed in the minutes. Now, the set protocols for taking and approving of minutes. Once your meeting minutes are complete, you need to have some actionable next steps set in place to quickly finalize them and distribute them to board members in a timely fashion. Your best bet is to have a checklist that keeps you on track. You need to improve your digital strategy by using technology to your advantage and then taking minutes on a laptop. This way it is much quicker to jot down important information and reorder it as you go when discussion varies from the agenda. Not only is this much more efficient, but when working from home there is an increased need for a more technological approach. Be sure to efficiently type keywords, brief sentences, and notations directly onto the agenda. Then outline any series of suggestions and comments in a bullet point style for quick reference, if you may. And that is it for agendas of meetings. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our pages on social media, on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and stay tuned for more videos.